All right, this is a part 2 update for September 1st, 2016, and we're watching a Hurricane Hermine right here moving into Florida. This is an 80-mile-per-hour Category 1 storm, and the storm is forecast to move northeast right up the coast. And one of the things I noticed is that there is an area of high pressure that appears to be installed right here, and that will, along with this developing high pressure right here, and we can see the contour from this this high pressure. We have something diving down here. This has got a transmitter on it. We can see some clockwise rotation up here, and this is moving down. But all this high pressure is going to help steer this system out to the northeast, as predicted by the National Hurricane Center. We can take a look at the map. This thing is forecast to move right up, pretty much right up the east coast, and possibly turn north, more northerly, up near New York. So we'll keep an eye on that. But getting back to the map there's definitely we can see a outline right here in the water vapor map, a circular outline, and that indicates to me that there's something right here that is providing some sort of force to move this thing along. And also right over here we can see this contour right here where all this high pressure and dry air is between these two moisture fields. So we have, it looks to me like we have a lot of weather manipulation besides the obvious blast pattern. This storm is being targeted, and I'm very surprised that they didn't wipe this storm out when they could have. We just watched a Category 3 storm out in the Central Pacific, Madeline, with 120-mile-per-hour winds, which now I believe is down to 40-mile-per-hour winds or something like that. Madeline, here's Madeline. 40, yeah, here we are, 40-mile-per-hour winds. Yesterday morning, that storm was around, it's lost all of its punch in about one day. And then we have Lester, which is back up at 125-mile-per-hour winds. So they're playing games out there with those transmitters. Let's take a look at the Gulf of Mexico map, and we can see the intensity of that storm. A lot of purple, which is way down here on the far right almost. Then we have the blue, which is the most intense. There actually is some spots of blue in this core, this hurricane, core of that hurricane. But right here we can see the outline of the transmitter right here, which is forcing this storm out, forcing it out of the Gulf of Mexico, which has very warm waters up in the mid to upper 80s. Here is the IR map, the rainbow loop. That's a fairly well-defined eye wall right there. And this storm will fall apart briefly as it moves on shore into the land base there. But once it moves back out over the water, over the ocean, out over here, it will quickly rebuild. And here's the visible light map. We can see a lot of photoshopping right here. So they are attempting to hide their work. That is the microwave, evidence of microwave energy hitting that system. All right, let's take a look at the west coast here. This is the Hawaiian water vapor loop. We can see Lester closing in right along that 20-degree latitude. These waters here are about almost 81 degrees. Put the latitude and longitude grid on. We can see that the storm is moving just a bit further south than Madeline, but it's heading right towards the Big Island. And we can see the blast pattern on that. They're hitting that, maintaining about 125-mile-per-hour winds at the moment. But if they took the transmitter off of this storm, that would quickly accelerate into a Category 5 or even greater in terms of the wind. Cat 5 storms, have to be 155 mile per hour winds or greater. And we remember Patricia, which had winds over 200 miles per hour. And we've also seen that happen in the West Pacific. Some of those super typhoons have had over 200 mile per hour winds. So um, all this weather manipulation going on, and there's a lot of countries doing this, not just the United States. But the fact that they're blowing up these storms right before they hit Hawaii explains who's behind it. I think if Russia was behind all this manipulation, we would not, Hawaii would have been run over several times over. Okay, now here's the infrared loop, and we see that the evaporation taking place as Madeline is finally snuffed out. We can see the transmitter is completely wiped this storm out, and by tomorrow there's just going to be a lot of lingering water vapor and clouds in this area. And then we have Madeline, and look at the blast pattern there. So by tomorrow, this storm right now it's at 125 mile per hour winds. It'll drop to probably around 80 or 75 mile per hour winds tomorrow. Here's the visible light map, and that storm still has a well-defined eye wall. Okay, so that's the report for now, and we'll just leave it right here, and we'll do an update tomorrow.